protections for crime victims be enshrined in Nevada's Constitution. If you vote in favor of question 1 on your ballot, they will be.
So the measure is something called Marsy's Law. It's named after a crime victim who died in California back in 1983. That murder set off a victims' rights campaign that has spread to many other states, and now it's before you as a voter here in Nevada.
New at 6, question 1 is where we begin our week-long look at all the ballot measures you'll be considering, and there's no one better to tackle that than our Jeff Gillen.
Good evening, everybody. In a nutshell, this debate centers on whether Nevada does enough already to protect victims. Will Batista is the man leading the fight in Nevada to pass question 1. Its supporters call it equal rights for victims.
We've seen that there's a little bit of a gap between some of the rights that they should be entitled to and the rights that they're actually being given.
Their solution, victim protections added to the Nevada Constitution, guaranteeing things like privacy, respect, the right to be heard in any proceeding. By our count, 20 guarantees covering different aspects of how a victim encounters the justice system.
Do we need Marsy's Law?
No. It's repetitive. There are laws on the books and in the Constitution that already protect victims in Nevada.
The ACLU's Todd Story says Marsy's Law is unnecessary. He says putting victims' rights in our state constitution could potentially collide with the U.S. Constitution, which guarantees the accused certain rights. Story says those guarantees are there for a reason.
But the accused and their rights have to be protected because that person could be deprived of their liberty and in some instances their life ultimately.
There is no conflict, says Marsy's Law.
We're not elevating the rights of the victims over the accused. We're elevating the rights of the victims to equal footing.
Marsy's Law has passed 2 sessions of our state legislature. It is backed by our 2 U.S. senators, the sheriff and the DA, among others. If you pass it in November, it becomes law. Among its guarantees, it allows crime victims to refuse interviews or depositions.
But oftentimes, the deposition process has been used as an intimidation tactic against the victim to drop those charges so that they don't even get their day in court.
Batista says a court could still order a victim to talk, but even then the ACLU says that could delay a defendant from getting information for a defense.
You then end up violating the accused's rights to a speedy trial. You end up violating their right to hear the charges brought against them. These are guarantees that we all enjoy under the United States Constitution.
And so the issue, the victims need more protection.
We don't want any more rights, any less rights. We want to make sure that everybody's treated fairly and equally.
Or do they already have protection enough?
We think that what exists currently is sufficient. We're not aware of anyone having claimed otherwise.
It's question 1, the legal debate in your ballot.
And here's another wrinkle: money. Opponents say Marsy's Law and its requirements to notify victims could potentially cost Nevada millions. Supporters say Nevada already has systems in place to hold those costs down. I'm Jeff Gillen, News 3.
Jeff, thanks so much. We're going to continue for you, the viewer at home, with our series on ballot questions next week. Monday, question 2 gets some scrutiny. Should we get rid of the sales tax on feminine products? Early voting starts Saturday, October 20th.
Cold War.